I want to talk about what happened in my life after I stopped drinking. In the next few days, I've not had an alcoholic drink for 3 whole years. That might sound like a really long time to you. And for some people, the thought of a lifetime without alcohol can seem overwhelming. But I felt absolutely committed to taking that step into an alcohol-free life. And so much of it was because I took the time to fully understand what I would be gaining without alcohol in my life. I didn't feel like I was losing anything at all. I'm Simon Chapple, the Quit Alcohol Coach, and you join me at 3 years sober in my new studio, which is actually doubling up as a gym at the moment, which is why you can see some exercise bikes behind me. But very soon they'll be gone. It'll all be clear. And it's a little bit echoey in here, so I apologise if the sound's not the usual high quality that you're used to. But I want to talk about everything that changed in my life after I quit and what happened after I stopped drinking. Now, once I got past that initial period, in the first few weeks where my sleep was disrupted and I was experiencing some fairly strong cravings to drink, I found that I was experiencing some really positive changes in my life. It didn't take long to start sleeping properly, and I soon noticed that the darkness under my eyes had faded away, my face wasn't looking as puffy as it normally did because I was starting to be properly hydrated, and my skin started to appear clear, and I started to look younger, believe it or not. And that was after just a few weeks of not drinking. But within, I started to feel so much happier. I felt calmer, I felt more resilient, and I felt kind of grounded. And things that used to faze me and cause extreme anxiety stopped having the same impact. It didn't take long for this to happen. It was within a matter of weeks I could feel my anxiety moving from the usual 9 out of 10 down to 7 out of 10. And it continued on a downward trajectory until it got to about 2 out of 10, which is where it sat for the last couple of years. After maybe 2 months, 3 months of being alcohol free, I felt almost euphoric most of the time. I was in a honeymoon period, I felt super excited about what I was doing, I was connecting in the sober community, and I was quite simply loving my alcohol free life. But a few months after that, I hit a bit of a flat period. I realised that I needed to stretch myself further because alcohol was my hobby. It occupied every day of my life, and it was what I did every single evening. I needed to stretch myself mentally, and I needed to make more connections socially. So I started to get myself out into the big wide world. I joined a fitness camp, and I started to connect with new people and do something that I really enjoyed. Something for me, something that gave me a big hit of dopamine, at the same time as allowing me to make new friends. And I was making new friends in the sober community too, which was an awesome place. And of course, people in the fitness camp I've joined, some of them drank, but the actual activity was not based around alcohol. So it wasn't on the cards. It wasn't about drinking, it was about fitness. So it didn't matter that some of those people drank. And as the months went by, I found that I didn't have a problem going into pubs and restaurants. I didn't do that for the first couple of months after I quit. I kept myself safe, I set my own boundaries, and I only started to venture where alcohol was being served when I felt good and ready. And I monitored myself and allowed myself to do that at a time that felt right for me. I didn't want to rush it. And I think it's important that you do the same if you're on this journey to breaking free from alcohol. Now, after a few months and I'd started to do new things, I'd started to engage back in the world of socialising and making new friends and new activities, new hobbies, you name it, I found that I was starting to feel some pretty uncomfortable feelings. And I realised that it was like an itch that needed to be scratched. And it reminded me of the same itch that I used to experience when I wanted to drink alcohol. But I no longer had alcohol as a coping mechanism. The simple fact is that alcohol is an anaesthetic. Anaesthetic is used to numb pain. And I think what I was doing for all those years was numbing out from pain that I had never, ever looked at. And I realised that as I got towards the third part of that first year, it was time to start looking at these things. It was time to start facing into them instead of running away. And that was what I had to do. And of course, there were things that really were quite uncomfortable, things that I'd never spoken about before, and things that I'd really not even come close to acknowledging or looking at. I would simply drink to just numb them out. Alcohol was my coping mechanism. I knew no other way. I'd become emotionally disconnected. I didn't know what it felt like to be sad, angry, happy, joyful, any of those things. I just went from mood swing to mood swing. There was no true connection with my emotions or my feelings. And as a result, I'd become emotionally disconnected, not only from myself, but from the important people in my life too. So I knew it was time to start leaning in to those challenging things that I'd run away from. I would recommend, if you're on the path to stopping drinking, not looking at this until the second phase of your journey. There's no way that we can look at this when we're still drinking or when we're newly sober, because we're not emotionally stable enough. But I think at around 9 to 12 months, we're in a place where we're able to start exploring this with a sense of curiosity, and we've got that extra layer of resilience where we can cope with whatever might come up. In my case, I experienced sexual abuse when I was a teenager. My father abandoned me when I was 2 years old, and my mother was emotionally absent. So all of those things I just never looked at, I'd never acknowledged, and it was time to start doing some work around them. That's what I've been doing for the best part of the last 2 years. I've been doing therapy, I've been working in my men's therapy group as well, and I've been connecting with people in my own communities and talking about their own very personal journeys. And they've been exploring their own childhoods, their own past, and looking at what might have shaped them as they moved into adulthood. And for many people, it's a journey of complete discovery. It can feel like an emotional roller coaster at times, and I think it's important to know that you're ready to take these things on. We don't want to dive into them too early. And I found that through that work, I discovered who I really was. I started to understand so much more about myself. I started to recognize what I liked, what I needed, and what really brought true joy into my life. And I'm thankful for going through that journey, because I've been able to reconnect with my feelings. I can experience emotions fully, whether they're good emotions or bad. I can experience them fully these days, and that means so much to me after being shut off for them for such a long period of time. And my journey was so profound that I wrote a book about it, which comes out later this year, How to Heal Your Inner Child. And that's exactly what I did. The first part of my journey was stopping drinking. I didn't realise it was going to lead to me becoming a sobriety coach, writing books, and exploring everything that had happened in the early stages of my life. It's been an amazing 3 years, and I'm so thankful to be alcohol free. I'm grateful for it every single day. It's been the best change I've ever made to my life, and I'd encourage you, if you're on the fence about stopping drinking, try it. Give yourself the opportunity to find out what it's like. Take a break for 30 or 60 days and notice everything that's changed in your life, and then decide once you've got the information. Don't deprive yourself of that opportunity to find out. If you keep on drinking day in, day out, you're never going to know if life is actually better without alcohol. Believe me, it is, and I'll be back again next year to tell you what it's like after 4 years without alcohol. And of course, there's new videos on my channel every Tuesday and every Thursday, so you're not going to get rid of me that easily. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and then you won't miss any. I want you to stay connected, and I want you to be part of my awesome community, so make sure you subscribe. And I'd love to hear how you're getting on and how things are with you and your relationship with alcohol. So post a comment below, and I'd love to hear what you have to say. I'll see you again next time, but here's to 3 years alcohol free.